Today, our Virginia Tech Hokies embark on the start of a new journey. Here to kick off Season 1, we begin at home to face off against the Dukes of James Madison University, and what should be a fun one. I appreciate everyone's patience from the first episode to now, and I also appreciate all the feedback on Episode 1, whether it was positive or not as positive. It seems like the decision to use fictional rosters for the series had some mixed opinions. I'll explain myself over the next couple of minutes and go over some other housekeeping stuff. If you want to bounce around and get to the game, I'll leave some timestamps in the description. But for those of you who want to hear my explanation, I talked about it a little bit within the first episode of the NCAA Next Up series that I uploaded a couple days ago. I'll leave a card at the top right of the screen in case you missed it. For those of you who are unsure of what the NCAA Next Up series is, basically, it's a mini-series within this dynasty where we go through all the noteworthy players and teams across the country, given that these prospects will be inside of our Madden 26 franchise that'll start in a few weeks. A lot of people didn't really like the idea of the 10-year sim, and looking back, I think I could have explained it a little bit better, but I think people are maybe looking a little bit too much into the sim, because I don't really care about what happened over the last 10 years. These national champions, for instance, will not impact the lore of this series. The only reason why I did this simulation was so I could have the fictional rosters. Last year in the Kansas Dynasty, we used the real prospects, and it was fun and different because that's not what I normally do, but truthfully, my roots are using these fictional players, and I also did not want to have the exact same player pool in the draft classes for Madden 26 because I feel like that would get a little bit repetitive. And the biggest reason for the fake rosters is that I can get all of you guys involved. Many of these top players here were subscriber-made custom prospects in my Discord server. The link to that is in the description if you're interested and would like to make a prospect for next season. I also mentioned that I want to push our team rating down. We were originally an 82 overall. I felt like that was a little bit too high. So now we're a 79. A number of the players on our roster I pushed down by a couple of rating points. I wanted to keep the Virginia Tech team kind of similar to what they have in real life, which is a pretty average team in the ACC. They just went 7-6 last year. And in the base roster, they are an 82 overall. However, the rating scale across the country is lower, which is what I had intended for. That was on purpose. So because of that, Virginia Tech should also be a little bit lower, hence why we are now a 79 overall, of course, with my updated XP sliders that I went over in my settings and sliders video that I uploaded last week. I hope all that makes sense. If not, feel free to ask questions in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer. All right, now that the nitty-gritty is done, we can get to the good stuff, and we'll start with our non-conference schedule reveal. Of course, week 1, we already went over this. We're playing at home against James Madison, an in-state rival. Week 2, we're headed to Tuscaloosa to face off against the Tide. Alabama, of course, has our former starting quarterback. Week 3, a night game in Blacksburg against Missouri, Clyde Poole's former rival while he was at the University of Kansas, which is where we are going in week 4. Clyde Poole returns home to face off against his former school. That'll be a really fun storyline. I'm super excited for all 4 of these games. The Jayhawks, though, in this series have fallen on tough times. They are coming off a 2-10 season. No Kerry Chosen, no Cornell teamer, but instead they have their alter egos. As for the ACC slate, we will start on the road at number 23 Louisville. That should be a fun game. Those guys are tough. Those guys are young. And I think the Cardinals could be at the top of the ACC over the next few years. Week 6, our bye week. That's when the recruiting special will be. Home versus Duke, at Georgia Tech. Home versus number 18 Pitt and number 4 Miami. At Syracuse versus North Carolina for Senior Day. And then on the road, our final game of the year, the Commonwealth Clash against the University of Virginia. Let's talk about recruiting now. I've decided to set up some house rules for this series just so we can make things a little bit harder. I can put any non-5-star on the board at the beginning of the season. But after the first game, I cannot put on any more 4 stars. Only 3 stars and below. So we can't necessarily cheese the game and add 4 stars who who have not yet been given scholarships. If we want a highly ranked prospect, we've got to go after them now. Prior to the recruiting special, which this year is week 6, I can only fully scout players from blue or gold pipeline states: Maryland, North Carolina, and Virginia. After the recruiting special, it's the same rules for new players I put on the board, but I can fully scout anybody left. We're going to offer all of these guys scholarships, and we're going to scout many of them now, or at least the guys who we are allowed to scout. 4-star quarterback Deion Johnson looks pretty solid. Could be a guy we go after, but if we keep him on the board, that'll hurt Cam Kingsbury's deal breaker of playing time. After scouting Kingsbury, I honestly think he's a little bit better, even though he's ranked quite a bit lower than Johnson. So because of that, I think Kingsbury's the guy we're going to go after. The challenge with him, though, is that he's the only quarterback we can have on the board. Otherwise, it will affect his deal breaker. Amir Alba looks pretty good. Ryan Cager is from a bronze pipeline, so we can only scout him a little bit. Nick Morris, fullback, is a bust. Alexander Duck, wide receiver, looks quite solid. Kiki Alcala, meanwhile, unfortunately, is a bust. But we would land our first gem with 3-star Rasheem Stuber. Most of the guys we've gone over are from Maryland, North Carolina, or Virginia, but tight end Gideon Zavala we cannot scout until after the recruiting special, as he is from California. By not being able to scout certain players, it alters our strategy in terms of recruiting, because we're not going to know if a certain guy is a gem or a bust. We might not put as many hours into a guy who we don't know to be a gem that could end up being a bust. As for the 5th rule that has to do with 5 stars, we can only have 1 5-star on the board at a time when our school prestige is lower than 4 stars. That player is linebacker Tyrell Dutton. We cannot have more than 2 5-stars on the board until we are a 4.5-star prestige. This way, we just can't go after a bunch of 5 stars. In the case of the linebacker Dutton, he happens to be interested in us, so it works out, but we're not allowed to have any other 5 stars on the board all season. Lawrence Rossi, we do not fit his deal breaker of playing time, but I'm going to keep him on the board. I kind of want to see how that battle goes. And for recruiting overall, I'm actually not really going to show you guys a lot until the recruiting special. That way it's a little bit more of a surprise as we introduce those prospects. We'll be going over some of their high school film. It'll be a lot of fun. I was able to add one more player on the board, wide receiver Stevie Molinaro, who's a 4-star, but that's it. After him, no more 4 stars. A lot of the 3 stars immediately locked us out, including the 2 gems, Rasheem Stuber and Shaq Huntington, which is unfortunate, but you can't win them all, kids. From there, I'm going to start putting points onto guys, but as I said earlier, we're not going to talk about recruiting until the recruiting special, which again is set for week 6. We have a bye week here in week 0. There's only 4 games across the country. The most notable team to be playing is Alabama, who's hosting Utah State. And every week, we'll be recapping the most notable games across the country like this. Number 6, Alabama, set to start their season against the Utah State Aggies. Alabama brought in multiple quarterbacks from the transfer portal this offseason, opting for the former Virginia Tech Hokie senior Kieran Riddle to be their starter, a projected mid-round pick in this year's NFL Draft. This game went about as you would expect for Alabama with this ridiculous touchdown catch by Moses Lexington, the senior transfer from Temple. 48-10, the Tide take care of business with 4 touchdown passes for Kieran Riddle. Jamarian Suggs added 3 more on the ground, while Lexington and Amir Anthony were both fantastic. Alabama gets a bye week in week 1, and then their next game will be hosting our Virginia Tech Hokies in week 2. South Carolina over Bowling Green. Tulsa upsets Mississippi State, while Dexter White and Gideon Indonesia win the Players of the Week. And now we can get set for our first game of the year against James Madison. The Dukes are the only non-power conference school on this schedule, but don't get it twisted. This game will not be a walk in the park. These guys are really good. Definitely one of the favorites to win the Sun Belt. JMU is the favorite in 11 of their 12 games this year. The only time they're an underdog is today against us. And if they can beat Virginia Tech, that would be a huge resume win that could help them potentially push for the Group of 5 bid in the college football playoff at the end of the year. Another thing JMU has going for them is that they will have the best player on the field today and probably in every game they play in. Junior wide receiver Dorian Sahara is one of the best players in the country. 6'2", 230. He's physical. He's dynamic after the catch. He reminds me physically a lot of A.J. Brown. I'm not saying he's going to be A.J. Brown, but I think there's a lot of parallels between the two of them. Sahara has been outstanding over his last 2 seasons at JMU, deciding to return to the Dukes rather than enter the NFL draft or the transfer portal. He's widely expected to leave for the NFL after this season, where I believe he will be a first-round pick. I get he's not playing at the biggest program, but the guy's a baller, and he's got a really good quarterback with redshirt freshman Noah DeVals, who had a huge offseason of development and won the starting quarterback job. Senior Alexander Edwards leads the backfield. They've got a really solid group on defense. I think the areas where we can expose these guys, though, are up front. The offensive line is a major weak link. The big story for us, of course, is Clyde Poole, his first game in nearly 2 seasons, as we take our first look at him along with everybody else on this Virginia Tech roster. And I'm excited to build a connection with our team over these first few games of the year as the Hokies run out to enter Sandman as we get started with Week 1 against JMU, one of our in-state foes. So with that, the anticipation is over. A new season of Hokie football is here. The head coaching debut for Cornell Teamers Sr. and the Virginia Tech debut for quarterback Clyde Poole, who has as big of a chip on his shoulder as anybody in college football, entering his final season of eligibility after missing last year with an injury. Watching his team win the national championship without him, he's got a lot to prove, looking to show the world why he should be a quarterback at the next level. This game and season is underway. Keontae Trice-Taylor, the freshman running back, will return it off the kickoff as he gets it to around the 20-yard line. And we take our first look at Clyde Poole in the offense. He's got a good supporting cast. Senior receiver Jontre Hickson, sophomore receiver Nazir Ishmael, and junior running back Mark Armstrong, who joins him in the backfield here on first down to get us started. Armstrong with the first play of the series up the middle, a solid gain of around 6. Armstrong is a physical downhill runner as it's Ashwill Virgo in the backfield. Play action. Poole will dump it off short for Virgo, the redshirt freshman, who gets the first down, tries to bounce it outside, and he is tackled at around the 35-yard line. Clyde Poole, of course, is very effective as a runner. He'll keep it here on the read option. Up the middle with plenty of room. It's a gain of around 21 for Clyde. We're going to change his play style, though. Clyde Poole has specifically demanded that we run more of a pro-style offense than he had at Kansas. On third down, Poole wants it all. It is incomplete. Looking for Nazir Ishmael. And our first drive of the year ends with a punt. As we take a look at the JMU offense, led by redshirt freshman quarterback Noah DeVals, and his top target, number 81, junior wide receiver Dorian Sahara, a potential first-round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. We're going to have a tall task looking to defend him. Alexander Edwards thrown on his side. That's number 11, Corbin Roll, the sophomore linebacker. Now it is a 3rd down and 9 for the Dukes. DeVals, the lefty, under pressure, and he is sacked. The sophomore, Braylon White, and the true freshman, Roylan Mathis, are there to bring him down. Mathis is a guy who we are so excited about, a 4-star recruit with elite development. This is a guy who we really feel like we can build the defense around. Great power moves, really good strength. The kid is built like an ox. Let me know what you thought of that little cameo, I guess, down below in the comments. Did you guys like it as we try to learn more about these players, or do you think it takes away from the game a little bit? Good field position here for the Hokies. Play action. Poole is sacked. A big loss forced by Riker Herndon, the all-conference senior linebacker. That'll make it a 2nd down and long. Poole up the middle. It's caught by Brandon Marbury, the USC transfer, who gets the first down. A gain of 21 for Marbury, resetting the chains. Now 3rd and 4, a little over halfway through the opening quarter. Poole up the middle, caught for a first down by Jontre Hickson, senior receiver and team captain. Running back in motion, that's Armstrong. Poole hit as he throws on 3rd down. It's incomplete, and we're going to have to bring out the field goal unit. A 31-yarder for the senior kicker, Ashton Lemon, looking to score the first points of the series. His kick from the right hash is up, and it is good. Right down the middle. And the Hokies are on the board first as they lead it 3-0. James Madison did not get anything going on their opening drive. It was a 3-and-out. They're hoping for a little more here. DeVales and Edwards in the backfield. Edwards gets it with plenty of room up the middle as he gets the first down, wrapped up by a couple of defenders, including number 12, the redshirt freshman Colby Cook. Flag on the play as that one is caught for a short gain. Big hit by junior safety number 1, Darius Penny, one of our team captains, as this one will be coming back. A holding call against James Madison on Sean Bober, the center. Second down and 19 for the Dukes. A little over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. DeVales looks to throw it. He's intercepted. Elihu Gold, the junior corner, picks it off. And Virginia Tech will start in the red zone. Strap him up, young man. Our first defensive takeaway of the year is by Elihu Gold as the teammates celebrate around him. This is a kid who I'm really excited about, and he's going to have a lot of responsibility today, being the primary assignment for Dorian Sahara. He wasn't covering Sahara on that play, but he gets his first interception of the year. I think the combination of size, athleticism, and ball skills is what makes this kid really intriguing. 3 interceptions as a rotational player his freshman year, had 2 more along with a fumble force last year as a sophomore, and he gets his first interception of the year here in the first quarter of week 1, and we're going to get the ball in the red zone. This is terrific starting field position. Poole fakes the handoff, scrambles to his left, looking to run it in, and Poole is in for a score! Clyde Poole with a rushing touchdown. How fitting for our first touchdown of this season, and the Hokies add to the lead late in the first quarter as it's now 10-0. Virginia Tech taking full advantage off of the turnover, and we're seeing the dynamic speed and rushing ability of Clyde Poole. He's going to scramble less this year and throw the ball more, per his request. That doesn't mean he's not going to run it, though. He's a better running quarterback than anyone in the country and will certainly continue to use his legs as a weapon. Minute 43 to go in the first. Following the takeaway, here's Edwards up the middle with plenty of room. Past the 45, all the way to around the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 34 for Alexander Edwards. He'll get another first down here inside the 5. James Madison's offense with some energy here at the end of the first quarter. Overall, though, a pretty good start for Virginia Tech, even though our defense is starting to slip. The offense has been pretty good so far with 10 points. The defense with timely plays. The sack by Royal Mathis, and of course the interception by Elihu Gold. To start the second quarter, 2nd and goal at the 1. DeVales keeps it. Flipped up and in for a touchdown. Noah DeVales putting his body on the line. Both quarterbacks with rushing touchdowns here in the early going as JMU brings it within 3. Darius Penny gave him a shot. I'm impressed that DeVales got right up after that hit and started dancing. I mean, he went flying into the air. I told you the Dukes are not going to make it easy. Looks like they're going to make it a game. Esteban Cabrera, the true freshman, his first career handoff, goes for a few. Now 3rd and 2. Poole looks to throw it. Looking for the sideline. It's hauled in. Nazir Ishmael, the sophomore, with the first down. I think Ishmael's the most talented player on the roster and is poised for a breakout season. Poole scrambles, has room, runs for the first down, past the 30, and out of bounds near the Virginia Tech medical tent. Our last drive, we got a touchdown because of the good field position, but here we're really moving the ball. Hickson inside the 10, tries to get by the defenders, and he is stopped at the 1. A nice gain for Jontre Hickson, who's off to a strong start here in the first game of his senior season, projected as an early day 3 pick currently in the NFL draft. The backup tight end, Tevison Jackson, in motion here on 2nd and goal at the 1. As Poole will look to throw it, he goes short, and it's caught! Brandon Marbury in the end zone for a touchdown, and the senior tight end puts Virginia Tech back up by 2 scores. Marbury is certainly an interesting case, a kid who we just got out at the transfer portal, had a good season last year at USC, but hasn't really been able to find a home. He's bounced around at a few different places, started his career at Ohio State where he never found the field, had a pretty good season last year at USC, but decided to enter the portal and come here. That's just the second touchdown of his entire career, and it puts Virginia Tech up 17-7. Another nice play by Clyde Poole, who looks good. I mean, he's been really comfortable in this first half, as it's back to a 10-point lead. Edwards on 2nd and 5 is going backwards. Number 8, Jair Hill, leads the way to bring him down. As on 3rd and 6, DeVal's hit as he throws, hurls it up, and it's caught! Jared Simmons somehow gets the first down for a gain of 21. How did they make that play work? JMU keeps the drive going with 3.5 to play in the second quarter. DeVal's calling for a switch at the line as he looks to throw it again. Up the middle, he's got the All-American Dorian Sahara, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and gains 28. I told y'all this guy is physical after the catch. He is a nuisance to bring down. That's his first catch. Under pressure, DeVal's brought down for a loss of 7 by Carmen Drake. And that'll make it a 3rd down and 17. Drake is a guy I'm really excited about, arguably the most talented player on the defense. One of 2 former 5-star recruits on the roster. Drake's development has been slow and steady at Virginia Tech. Had 3 sacks as a freshman, took a leap up last year with 6. I think he's poised for a breakout season, and if that were to happen, I could certainly see him leaving for the NFL at the end of the year. He's had some good reps today, certainly including that one. 3rd and 17 now for the Dukes. 2.5 to play in the first half. It's a 10-point lead. DeVal's looks to throw it. Under more pressure, looking deep. It's caught! Kalen Thompson wide open down the field for a gain of 27. Everybody's getting the ball on this offense. They are not force-feeding Sahara at all. As Edwards loses yardage, Noah Singleton, the highest-rated player on the roster, brings him down, our defensive leader. On 3rd and 8, DeVal's up the middle. It's caught for a score. Kalen Thompson brings it back within 3. The Dukes are really giving us a ball game. 4 consecutive drives with a touchdown for these 2 teams. After the first 4 drives of the game, there were no touchdowns. Under a minute left in the half. Poole scrambling, goes short. It is caught by Ishmael, who's just shy of the first down. Looks like we have a penalty. This one will be coming back. JMU's got an interesting decision to make. 4th and 1 or 3rd and 12? They're going to accept the penalty, which kind of surprised me. I would have punted the ball on 4th and 1, but now they're going to give our offense another shot. 3rd and 12. Poole under pressure, hit as he throws. It's caught. John Trey Hickson, 4 catches, 59 yards in the first half. Thanks for accepting the penalty, guys. We appreciate it. 33 seconds left. That one is hauled in by Marbury, who's out of bounds, stopping the clock. Down to 31 seconds. Poole up the middle. It's caught by Trevor Adams. He only gets a few, and we are immediately going to use that first timeout. Still with 2 more in our back pocket. 23 seconds left, 3rd and 6. Poole under pressure, looks short. It's caught. Marbury does not get the first down. His 5th catch of the game. We're going to use timeout number 2, and we're going to keep the offense out on the field. 4th and 1 at the 33. We could go for the 50-yard field goal, but we're going to go for it. Poole is going backwards, trying to stumble out of the tackle, but he cannot. It's Sidney St. John who brings him down. James Madison will have 13 seconds here at the end of the first half as DeVal's is wrapped up. Xavius Haynes, the senior, brings him down, and that will wrap up an exciting first half of football here in Blacksburg, Virginia. 17-14, Virginia Tech holds the lead, although James Madison starts with the ball in the second half. The Dukes are one of the best small schools in the country this year, and they're giving us everything they can bargain for. We started the game off hot, up 10-0 with the big interception by Elihu Gold, but James Madison's done a good job offensively since then. I think both quarterbacks have played quite well. Clyde Poole, 16 of 23. He's been busy through the air, and he's been effective. 159 yards and a touchdown to go along with 6 carries for 45 yards and a score. DeVal's, meanwhile, 7 of 9, 107, a touchdown and an interception. We have not really ran the ball very well. Mark Armstrong averaging under 3 yards per carry. And for JMU, they've got to get Sahara the ball more. 1 catch, 28 yards for their top player. Edwards tries to bounce it to the outside, but he loses yardage. Royland Mathis again I wasn't sure if I wanted to redshirt him or not, but he's shown today that he clearly is good enough to play here as a true freshman. 2nd and 13. There's Sahara again. Quickly wrapped up by Elihu Gold, who was arguably the best player on the field in the first half with the interception and great coverage. 3rd and 7. DeVal's under pressure, throws it away. Jensen Diglio, number 7, with pressure off the edge. Huge 3-and-out for the defense as we'll get the ball back, still up by 3. Armstrong to the outside, loses yardage. Riker Herndon brings him down. We just have not been able to run the ball at all. It has been rough. 2nd and 11, high throw. Armstrong hauls it in for the first down. Even though Armstrong has not been effective on the ground, he makes a nice play as a receiver. Read option. Poole keeps it. Poole to the right side, past the 50. Runs out of bounds. Does not want to take a big hit. He knows better than that after his elbow injury kept him out all of last year. Cabrera on 3rd and 1 does not get it. Another stop for JMU. And another 4th down where the offense stays on the field. 4th and 2 at the 40. Poole rolls out, looking short. It is caught. Not the best throw, but Nazir Ismail is so big. 6'5", really long arms. He's got an unbelievable catch radius as he hauls it in for the first down. 4 minutes to go in the third. Here's Ashwell Virgo up the middle for a gain of 10. That's his first carry of the day. Maybe he's the running back who needs to be getting a bulk of the touches. Armstrong on 3rd and 3 loses yardage. And we're going to kick the field goal. I know the game says we should go for it, but I don't trust this team in short yardage spots at all yet. Ashton Lemon's kick from 26. It is up and it is through. 20-14. Virginia Tech doubles the lead, but it's still a one-score game. James Madison will get it back. Their offense seems to be cooling off a little bit after their impressive second quarter as Edwards is going backwards. Colby Cook, number 12, brings him down. They ran the ball really well in the first quarter, but have really cooled off since. 2nd and 13 off the blitz. Noah Singleton in the backfield with the sack. I think he is probably the most accomplished player on this defense, a team captain, 3-year starter, now entering his 4th. 3rd and 20. One-on-one ball for Sahara. Incomplete. He takes a shot from number 9, Justice Watkins. Could that have been a flag? Maybe. Am I complaining that there is a no call? No, I'm not complaining, but Sahara took a big hit from Watkins. Ahmad Slayton will return the punt. Slayton cuts up midfield past the 30, nearing the 25. Great starting field position again for Virginia Tech, who took advantage when we had the interception at the end of the first quarter. Armstrong on 2nd and 4 gets around 2. We still cannot run the ball at all, other than Clyde Poole. Poole will look to throw it on 3rd and 2. He goes short for Virgo, gets the first down inside the 10, and that will wrap up the third. Really strong quarter for Virginia Tech. We only scored 3 points there, but we've got it in striking distance, looking to make it a 2-score game. Seems like Clyde Poole is really trying to get everybody involved. 8 targets for Hickson, 10 for Ishmael, 5 for Marbury. Everybody's getting the rock. As we start the fourth quarter at the 2-yard line, 3rd and goal. Short throw, caught for a walk-in touchdown by Mark Armstrong, and it's a 2-score lead for Virginia Tech. Get used to this sight. Mark Armstrong in the end zone. This guy has been a touchdown machine at Virginia Tech over his first 2 seasons, and sure, he has not been very effective today, but he's been a really good player for Virginia Tech over the last couple of seasons. 21 touchdowns on the ground in his career, including 14 a season ago. And if he sticks around for another 2 years, he could find himself at the top of Virginia Tech's all-time touchdown lists, as we are going to go for 2, try to make it a clean 14-point lead. Poole to Armstrong, and he just misses. James Madison holds Armstrong out of the end zone, 26-14 with 9 minutes to go. Edwards gets it up the middle, and he does not get much. James Madison seems to be really focused on sticking with the run. 3rd and 3, they'll go back to it, and Edwards is stopped. Number 7, Jensen Diglio, brings him down, joined by number 90, Carmen Drake. And they're going to punt the ball. Probably the right call. I think it's a little too early to go for it. I mean, there's still 8 minutes left. Screen for Virgo on 1st down. He's going backwards. Good play there by the JMU defense as it is now a 3rd down and 8. Poole looks to throw it up the middle, broken up for Nazir Ismail. A 3-and-out, quick punt. James Madison gets it right back. They're not giving up running the ball, as it's a gain of around 2. Number 6, the best world, brings him down. And now that brings us to a 3rd down and 5. They're going to run it again. Edwards bounces off a block, and he gets around 3. Why do they keep running the ball? It's not working. Their best receiver's gotten the ball twice today. Use him. They're going to go for it here on 4th down and around 3. And they're going to run the ball. Edwards does not get it. The best in the world. Living up to his name. Carmen Drake as well, reading the play perfectly. He was in the backfield immediately. So the Hokies get the stop, looking to ice the game for good. As Cabrera does not get much. He loses a yard on 1st and 15. Now 3rd and long. Virgo up the middle. Solid gain. Even though Cabrera and Armstrong have not been very good, Virgo's actually been quite efficient. 37-yard field goal try for Ashton Lemon. 2 for 2 today, and he sinks that one through the uprights. Lemon's been really solid. All 3 of his kicks have been perfectly placed down Main Street. 29-14 with 4 minutes to go. Will James Madison finally throw the ball? Yes, but it's an RPO, and they're not going to get much. Maybe a yard or 2, if that. Why are they not getting Sahara the ball? I get we're covering him really well, but still. Up the middle, jarred out of his hands. Sahara takes a shot from Noah Singleton. There is a flag on the field, illegal touching on Sahara. I guess he went out of bounds and then came back in. So we can make it either 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 9. Wow, that's quite the choice. 3rd and 9 now for JMU. DeVal scrambles. He's sacked. Carmen Drake, his 2nd of the game, and they're going to have to hurry up to the line and go for it. Here on 4th down and 12. DeVal's an empty. Looks to throw it. Under pressure. Scrambles up the middle, and he is just short. Carmen Drake brings him down. The best world was there as well, along with Xavier Haynes, as Virginia Tech looks to finish the game off for good. Cabrera to the outside, gets the 1st down, but he's out of bounds, which stops the clock. Not all bad for JMU, I guess. Poole looks to throw it now, rolls to the right, has rushing room, and he'll take advantage. Whoop! Juke, a spin, and he finds himself inside the 10. 10 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown for Clyde Poole. 2:46 to play. It is 2nd and goal now for Virginia Tech. As it is play action, Poole rolls out to the left. On the run, it is caught! Leaping grab in the end zone by Trevor Adams. And Virginia Tech adds to the lead. They're up by 3 scores. Adams, the junior slot receiver, may not be the biggest, but he's tough, sneaky athlete, gritty kid. First guy in, last guy out. Hard hat, lunch pail, blue-collar mentality. And he's got a little juice. I mean, he's sneaky athletic. You see it there. High-pointing the football as it is 36-14. Not looking good for James Madison. They're down by 22 points. Short throw is caught by Walt Hill, who breaks a tackle. And there goes Hill! JMU needed a quick score, and they are going to get it. 75 yards for Walt Hill. And the Dukes are right back within 2 scores. Well, that was fast. I think the tackling in the secondary today has been a little subpar. You see it on that play as JMU now will look to go for 2. Try to make it a 14-point deficit. DeVal's pass is broken up. Noah Singleton jars it out. He's had a nice game. The onside kick attempt will be recovered by Adams, who just had the touchdown. And with 2:28 to go, the Hokies are going to look to finish off the game for good and start the season with a record of 1-0. 3rd down and 4. Adams in motion. Poole keeps it. Tries to bounce outside. And he only gets... Actually, he lost a yard. 4th and 5. We could kick a field goal. We could punt it. I don't know. I think we have other plans. Since JMU does not have any timeouts, a 1st down ends this game. So I figure, why not end it? Poole batted away at the line. Virginia Tech not quite able to finish off the job just yet as James Madison gets it back. DeVal's sacked again. Xavier Haynes and Quincy Akindele bring him down. 2nd and 18, up the middle. That one is caught. It's Alexander Edwards who gets the 1st down past the 50. looking to move as fast as they can. Minute 16 to go. DeVal's looking to run with it. Flag on the play as he takes a big hit from cornerback number 28, Samson Abbott. A holding call against the offense. So we can make it a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 16. I'm going to accept the penalty. I would rather the extra yardage, even giving them the extra down. DeVal's under pressure, sacked yet again. This pass rush has been unbelievable today. That's Jeronimo Rodriguez, the transfer from Wisconsin, with the sack. 4th down and very long for JMU with the game on the line. DeVal's under pressure. He'll go short, and it's broken up for Dorian Sahara, and that is going to do it. Clyde Poole and the offense will come back out in victory formation. There's a lot that this team needs to work on, but I think overall we played pretty well. A win is a win at the end of the day, as the Hokies will kick off season number 1 with a record of 1-0, beating James Madison 36-20. I thought Clyde Poole played a really good game. He looked confident out there. He was consistent, nearly 300 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns. Now it's going to be a little bit harder next week. He'll be playing against Alabama, the team he last lost to at Kansas, while simultaneously injuring himself in that game. So I feel like Clyde Poole is going to have an extra chip on his shoulder to look to play well against the Crimson Tide. But as we recap this game, I really feel like there was a lot to like from our team. I thought the defense played well. Secondary was really good. The pass rush was awesome. We dominated time of possession, but I think that's more so because JMU was in tempo the whole game, whereas we were taking things kind of slowly. Poole's final stat line in his Virginia Tech debut, 26 of 37, 216, and 3 passing touchdowns. JMU did a good job of covering the deep ball. We couldn't really stretch the field. Definitely something we're going to want to add to the offense in the coming weeks. But Poole did a good job of taking what the defense gave him. He added 84 yards on the ground, although Armstrong and Cabrera only had 20. We're going to have to run the ball better. And if we're struggling like this against JMU, what are we going to do against Alabama? 6 for 46 for Ishmael. I definitely want to have him getting open down the field more. Marbury with 5 catches. Hickson had 4. The pass blocking I thought was really good. The run blocking I thought was really bad. And then defensively, we had a good game overall. A lot of TFLs. Elihu Gold was terrific covering Sahara. He had the interception. In my opinion, he gets the game ball. He was our best player today. And then Ashton Lemon, all 6 of his kicks were made. DeVal's 13 of 19, 227, 2 scores and a pick. He was pretty solid in this game despite the loss. Running the ball was weird for James Madison. They did a great job in the first quarter. Edwards was averaging like 8 or 9 yards a carry. But then after the first quarter, he got nothing going. We were really able to hunker down and stop the ground game. And then through the air, Dorian Sahara, 2 catches, 34 yards. He made some really nice plays, but we did a great job covering him. He was obviously our defensive game plan. All the focus was on him. We had 2 to 3 guys around him at all times. And in one-on-one situations, I thought Elihu Gold was absolutely terrific matching up with him. I'm excited to follow the rest of Sahara's season. I think he's going to have a great year, and as I said earlier, I think he's going to be a first-round pick, and that stance really does not change, despite the fact that he only got the ball twice. I think JMU should have been able to use him a little bit more, even if that's getting him the ball in end-arounds and in the short game, the screen game. Let's cover some matchups here in Week 1. We've got a loaded slate of non-conference games. Number 1 Clemson, number 3 Tennessee headlines the list. But we're actually going to start things off with Oklahoma. Quarterback Wyatt Cruz, a potential candidate to be the number 1 pick. The Sooners come in ranked number 13, facing off against the Pitt Panthers, who start this season ranked number 18 here in Jerry's World. Basically a home game for Oklahoma. However, the Pitt Panthers ended up pulling off the upset. Sophomore quarterback Jaquarius Spencer had a great game, and true freshman wide receiver C.J. Lanier had 10 catches, including that touchdown. 27-24 win for Pitt. I thought Cruz was pretty good, 290 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he was not overly accurate. And that was the issue for him last year, the accuracy. That's where he's really got to get better. Right now, he feels a lot like Anthony Richardson to me in his final season at Florida. Spencer also missed a lot of throws, but he was good overall. And then C.J. Lanier, 184 yards in his debut. This kid looks like a star. LSU and Penn State headed to Vegas. I think the Tigers are more talented than Penn State, but LSU is really young. Penn State's got a good group of veterans, and ultimately, the upperclassmen would help lead them to the win. Redshirt senior quarterback Sayland Wooten launching a dime on that play for his tight end, Mayan Luciano. 32-29, a close one, but it goes to the Nittany Lions. Chase Priester's first game was up and down. Bryce Davis, I thought, was pretty solid for LSU, around 100 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Sayland Wooten is not the most talented quarterback in the world, but he's rock solid. 66% completion percentage and 2 scores. They've got a young backfield. Neither of the running backs were particularly impressive despite the win. East Carolina, ranked number 25, heads to Champaign, Illinois, to see the number 15 Illinois Fighting Illini, who are expected to have one of the top rushing attacks in the country. I was expecting a good game, and we got anything but. East Carolina put their names on the map, putting up a 50-piece on Illinois, blowing out the Illini 52-17, and the score doesn't do it justice. They were up 31-3 at the half. 5 touchdowns for Julian Hero, the junior quarterback, 2 caught by Ezekiel Lane, 2 for Matthew Murray. Does this win make ECU the favorite to be the Group 5 playoff team? Rough debut for Derek Watson, while Anthony Anderson scored twice. That was really all they had going for them. Florida State had an embarrassing season last year. They're going to start their campaign at home against the Air Force Falcons, and the momentum, or I guess negative momentum, for Florida State would continue. A late touchdown here by the Falcons would help them upset Florida State 27-24. For a team in Florida State who had such a bad season last year, this is the opposite of how they wanted to start. Creed Carden, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Air Force. Derek Bowen was not great. He also was picked off twice, while Denzel Bond, the star running back, was pretty inefficient. Next up, we head to the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. Basically a home game for Georgia, ranked number 5, facing off against the number 23 ranked Louisville Cardinals. Georgia's going to be one of the best teams in the country this year, and they showed it today. This touchdown from senior running back and potential preseason Heisman candidate Xavier Eccles would help them win it comfortably 44-21. 4 scores for Hoppy Reynolds. He's been a really solid starter over the last few years at multiple programs. And the freshman, Sir Odiah Nobles. Know that name. I think he's going to be a first rounder in a couple years. Rough debut for the redshirt freshman Judah Hudson for Louisville. Another one of the top projected group of 5 teams this year is San Diego State. The Aztecs come in ranked number 22 as they will face off against the Wolfpack of NC State. The Aztecs dominated early in this game, but NC State really found their footing in the second half with redshirt senior quarterback Micah Humble leading the comeback win for the Wolfpack 41-31, in which they outscored San Diego State 25-3 in the fourth quarter. 3 scores and 371 yards for Humble. Not the biggest guy in the world, only 5'10", but he's a dog. Really, really fun player. DeAndre Evanson was okay. Mars Alouette had a good game, as did Satius Moore, both of whom are NFL draft prospects this upcoming year. And finally, the game of the week. Number 1 Clemson, number 3 Tennessee in the Bank of America Stadium. The winner of this game certainly will be ranked number 1, with 2 quarterbacks who have never started an FBS game. Despite that, these 2 offenses had no issues scoring, but this late touchdown by senior wideout Antonio Penwell would give Tennessee the win and the new number 1 ranking 41-39. This game lived up to the billing with nearly 1,000 yards of offense. Nick Eberle in his collegiate debut was terrific. Not going to get much easier for Clemson. They play Notre Dame this upcoming week and Oklahoma the following week. Messiah Cook, the number 1 player in the recruiting class with 126 yards in his debut, while Kamari Fisher played quite well. Marcel Merrick adds 3 scores on the ground and a very balanced day through the air for the Vols. Arkansas squeaks away from Syracuse. Michigan scores 71. Houston gives Ohio State a tough one. The Buckeyes win by 14. Otherwise, no major upsets. I think the ACC had overall a pretty good week outside of, Florida State. But for Syracuse to keep it close with Arkansas, for Pitt to upset Oklahoma, I didn't really expect that coming into the week. As we look at some scores across the rest of the nation, our main rival, Virginia, beats Delaware by 14. Not their best outing. Central Michigan with a good win over Kentucky. I told you guys to keep an eye on the Chippewas. I wanted to play against them, but I just couldn't fit them in our schedule. They're going to be a good team, though. Fresno State dominates Rutgers 44-20. Middle Tennessee State over Georgia Tech. Is this another series where Middle Tennessee State ends up being really good? If you know, you know. 66 points for UConn. Some of these scoring totals are crazy. I said it in a video earlier this week. I think we're going to see somebody score 100 in the sim at some point. I don't know when, but I think it's going to happen. Not too much movement in the rankings. Virginia Tech, unfortunately, not getting any votes. That could change with a win this week, but that's certainly an uphill battle. Next time around, we've got our first doubleheader of the season. We're traveling to Alabama to face off against the Crimson Tide. Kieran Riddle, a potential Heisman candidate. He's not on the list currently, but I think he could be pretty soon. And then we will be hosting the Missouri Tigers in Week 3. Should be a fun one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new for more Virginia Tech Dynasty. Peace out.